Good morning. It's Friday, I'm just guessing at this point, I'm going to say it's the 12th, maybe it's the 13th. It's absolutely the 13th. Today's Friday the 13th. January, Friday the 13th. If you watched yesterday's video, you saw that I got lost on my way to work. I don't know what to attribute it to. Maybe I got lost in thought. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I really don't know. I have to. I watched the video back to some degree because I had to edit it. At a certain point during the video, once I realized I had no idea where I was, I engaged the GPS, and it just started saying things. So around the, I want to say 47-minute mark, 47 minutes, 18 seconds, something like that, you might see a slight jump in the video. That's I used to do post-processing on the videos before I would upload them, but I had never done any edits on a video after I had uploaded it. I intend to, because there's lots of stuff I want to add to the videos. Like yesterday's video, there's something I want to add to the beginning, just a little clip from one of the episodes of Rick and Morty when they break time. It's pertinent to the I make a lot of inside jokes. When I say inside, I mean really inside. They're only funny to me. When I said at the beginning of yesterday's episode, there never needs to be more than one of these, it's a reference to a scene in Rick and Morty where they break time and there's like 2 dots instead of 1 dot. Oh, this guy's moving incredibly slow. So yeah, so there's an edit in yesterday's video. There's no real content removed because, as we've discussed ad nauseum, there is no content to remove. But yeah, the GPS said something I didn't want said out loud on my, what is this, real show? Video, let's go with video. I started talking about something else before I mentioned the edit. Yesterday's video, I misspoke. I noticed I said something wrong. I say something wrong in almost every video. Oh, so I don't know if it was yesterday's video or the day before. I was talking about 422 on my way home on the highway, merging on the 422. And this doesn't matter, but I have some form of right-left dyslexia. Like I explained, I don't have trouble reading. I have very good spatial things, but like left and right are just, they're weird. Anyway, so I was saying you have to get all the way over to the right when merging to get onto the entrance to 420, but it's the left. You always have to get the left. And I think it's the left everywhere in the world. You never really, well, I guess there are exits on the right, but anyway, to get onto 422 at that point at Valley Forge, you have to get all the way over to the left. It's not important. It doesn't detract from the lack of content from yesterday. I just wanted to point out that I noticed that I screwed it up yet again, my left and right. This weird thing with my lip. I noticed, like I said, I'm doing it now. I recently ate something that stabbed me in the mouth, and now I've got a little bump there, and I keep playing with it. Can't stop. Do you ever bite the inside of your cheek, and it swells up a little bit, and then that's all you can just keep biting it? Like that's the rest of your life is just a series of moments biting the inside of your cheek because you bit it once. It's horrible. It's easier for me to bite the inside of my cheek because I gained a lot of weight over the past couple of years, so that's why I'm this big balloony moon-faced looking guy. I've said in other videos I really should lose weight, and I said I'm not going to do anything about it. I think I actually am, mainly because every once in a while, like I said, I have to go in and I have to edit these videos, and not enjoying staring at me being an amorphous blob. It's very disconcerting. Mainly because, as I said in another video, I was thin for very large portion of the first, like all the way through my 20s, maybe part of my 30s, I was always a very thin person, like, you know, in the 120s, and then like I capped out at like the 170s. That's when I was fat. When I was like 175, I was like, that was it. Then it went up. Like I broke 200, and I haven't looked back. No, I've been hovering around between 200 and 210. I've been bouncing in that area. It's easy for me to lose weight when I decide to do it. Like I can just make it fall off. You know, start eating greater, and just a little bit of exercise, like exercise the large muscle groups, and it just burns calories. Just, you know, I like to make the excuse that I don't have a lot of time to do it, but it doesn't take long. Like when I was actively working out, the workout that I do that was like knocking the weight off, like I could do it in less than a half hour. Like it's just a series of exercises that exercise the major muscle groups. It's not to get into any kind of specific bodybuilder shape. It's just to exercise the large muscle groups so that you burn calories. Maybe when I start it and I start to show results quickly, like you'll see it in my face, because the first place you lose weight when you're losing weight, when you're a great big fatty like me, is in the extremities. So you get disheartened because like your waist size doesn't get any smaller. You still feel fat, but then you've got people walking up to you. Have you lost weight? Like, no, I'm still a great big fatty, because you lose it in your face and your arms and stuff like that before you lose it in your gut. Gut's like the last place you lose it. There's probably some science behind that. I know there's science. I kind of remember reading what your body holds on to. So like there's two kinds of fat that goes on down there. I'm not going to get into it because I have to reread up on it. I don't want to put I don't want to put much misinformation out there. There's nothing wrong with just a little bit of misinformation, as long as it's done in the name of comedy. So if you can tell, I'm driving very slowly right now. I'm doing about 18 miles an hour. There's a whole line of vehicles here behind a tractor trailer that's just crawling along. This doesn't bode well. It's pretty early in the trip. I got a good head start, but if this keeps up, I may have to change my attack plan and jump onto a highway at some point, like around 40-foot road or... What in the world is going on here? Like there's a lot of people like, I don't know if this has been going on for a while, but a lot of people are just bailing on this tractor trailer. They're just going, or like just taking other routes. I'm gonna sneeze. Pardon me. I don't know how true this is. I was either reading something, or I haven't read anything in years, or I saw a reel or some Facebook short or something on YouTube, or maybe it came to me in a dream. Someone had mentioned that the sneeze, what we do, we, like, you know, it's an involuntary thing, but there's like affectations that you put on it. Like everybody sneezes differently. You got some people that make like really weird sneeze noises. Like I sometimes, just for laughs, when I sneeze, I'll go achoo, like they do in cartoons. But apparently, according to this uncited source, sneezes are actually supposed to be almost silent. They're just a rush of air. We do, out of habit, we do these things and kind of make it much noisier than it's supposed to be. And like, it's way too late in life for me to figure out what the natural sneeze should be, but it's supposed to be this thing where you just, like, all this air comes out. It's supposed to clear whatever's tickling your nasal passages or whatever. I'm already into that stream of consciousness thing. Anything I see, I just like start rambling about. I thought I was going to, oh, right, now I remember. The other thing before I started talking about my cognitive decline and getting lost on my way to work, when I literally have to make 2 turns on my way to work, was that in the process of editing out that little blurb 47 minutes into the video yesterday, I noticed that there's there's a lot of functionality built into the YouTube. Like, it has a nice little studio, very basic editing commands. Like, I had to teach myself it real quick because I had to edit something out. I should watch a video because I'm sure there's a lot more stuff I could do than like what I figured out. I only figured out what I needed to do, and then while I was playing around, I discovered this other thing, which is really neat. If you're watching me right now on a cell phone and you're holding it in your hand in the upright position, you can't see this. But if you go into widescreen mode and you fill the entire screen, or if you're watching on a PC or a laptop, you'll notice that I think right about, I want to say here, there's like a little watermark. I think it's that side of the screen. I don't think it's over there. I was pretty sure it was real close to me. So right about there, there's a watermark. It's just a little CS, and you can go into the studio, go into, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the second choice from the bottom. I can't see the word. Why can't I see the word? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's the second choice from the bottom, and then it's like takes you to this like branding thing where you can add a watermark, add a banner. I added a banner, but I didn't quite didn't understand the assignment. I didn't quite get what it was doing. So it, like the watermark, they give you a suggested size, like it's 150 pixels by 150 pixels. All I did was I busted out Paint and just picked a nice font, made it real big, expanded the Paint, Microsoft Paint window really big, zoomed way in, arranged the letters where I wanted them, shrunk it back down, saved it as a PNG, and uploaded it. And all the stuff is there. Not the Microsoft Paint. You can do that yourself. Just save it to your desktop or to your files, and then you upload it. The banner, I made it like a goofy banner. I made a couple, and it's weird. The banner art, they suggest a very large size, like 2048 by 1500 or 1700, like this ridiculous rectangle. But I was messing with it. Like you always know you never get to see the whole thing. So like I was messing with different things. So like it's a suggested size, but you have to realize that when it comes up on the PC, you don't see that whole piece of art. You see, and they tell you what parts you'll see. I just didn't understand what they were telling me when they said it. So it's like it's bizarre. Like I think you would have to, if you want it to fit in a very specific way, you would have to play around with where your art sits, like in the framing in the picture that you upload, or you would have to make a smaller picture so that it is definitely captured the way you want it to be captured. I should lean on my viewer for a banner. And I also realized you can give other people access to your channel. Like you can have, and I guess I should have realized this because it's just like when I was talking about when I was talking about D-Dial back when I ran a chat system. You could have system admins, co's. I think that meant the same. Like I guess if it was my D-Dial, I was the system administrator. Then you had the co-sysops. I forget what we called everything. Reminds me of a lot of funny stuff I'm not going to mention here. On other D-Dials, how people would get to be co-sysops. Ask me in person. It's not really funny. I just don't want to say it out loud. It's funny to me because I'm 12, and we're coming up to. I didn't even think till I'm not caffeinated, but I didn't get to bed on time. In fact, I woke up at 3, but I was able to fall back asleep for a couple of minutes and then get up. And those couple of minutes, that made all the difference in the world. I feel better. I mean, it's not going to stop me from yawning any minute because it's too stupid early. So this is that famous intersection where eventually someone's going to plow into me. Oh no! It's not that bad. There's 3 people in line. Three people in line at Dunkin' Donuts. What kind of nonsense is this? Wrong window. Hi, could I have a large black coffee, please?
I'm sorry, what was that?
A large black coffee?
Okay, was that anything else?
No, that's it.
Alright, 317.
Thanks. That was awkward. I haven't had coffee yet, so I apologize. Whatever I was talking about just before I reached the circle, I have no idea. I won't be able to continue that thought. It's just gone. Oh, I was talking about the editor in YouTube. I guess I should wait. Make a mental note. Baked potatoes, no, make a pertinent mental note. YouTube editing software. I was again, I'm gonna wait because like I'm gonna start talking, this guy's gonna move, I'm gonna have to stop again. It's just gonna be this whole thing. So I didn't check this morning. I'm hoping I'm still only at 2 subscribers. I hope it doesn't keep climbing. That would be unfortunate. You know what? I will start talking about it, and maybe that'll get this line to move. So the editing software, you can make someone you can give someone else access to edit your site, which is very handy. Like if you're running a very popular site and you want to make sure that you're engaging with your audience and you want to reply to all the. Give me a moment. All right. Thank you very much. Ooh. All right, that boy is barely comprehensible. Comprehensible? I don't know. Incomprehensible. Can barely understand what he's saying. He's not very good. Like he's handing out coffee cups. Like you saw it the other day when, like, every once in a while someone will make that mistake. It's understandable. But he is clearly out of his element. He shouldn't be doing something as sophisticated as handing coffee out a window. That lid was barely on there. So the making people sit up, so you can engage your audience more. Like if you're running a popular site, like if you're the guy, or like what they'll say that the talent, like if you're making the video, you're editing them and stuff like that. Like one, like obviously you might, if you're big enough, you have people that'll edit your videos. Maybe if you're horrible like me and have no content, maybe you'll have people writing copy for you. But like I said, you can you could have people be on the site and, you know, reply to comments. If especially if like YouTube was your source of income, like, you know, people who use YouTube as a source of income have ridiculous amounts of followers, because you need to have a big channel, wide spread viewership, because I believe it's all ad revenue. So if you're not drawing views, you're not drawing ad revenue, so you don't make any money. But wondering if you can select the rights too. I didn't go into it, so like, you know, if I beg and plead and possibly pay, the person who was the sole subscriber to this channel has a unique set of skills, and maybe I could convince him to take like maybe 20 minutes of his time, because that's how good he is. 20 minutes of his time, and slap together an amazing banner for my channel that I can upload. You know, something like this, the watermark, but like, you know, bigger, wider. And if he's got the time, maybe a better watermark. This is just an experiment. It does look, I mean, this looks crappy because it's just a text, my initials on a white background with like, you know, the fanciest font I could find. I went through many iterations over the course of 3 minutes, different color combinations, all of which were better than black and white on a dark background. Wish I would stop saying especially when, like, you know, when you're trying to find the right word. Like, when I say at the end of a thought, I am compelled to keep talking, and it's awkward. If I don't say the sentence ends naturally, and I can pause briefly and go on to the next thought without pressure. But when I end it with like, all of a sudden I just go into scramble mode. It's like, oh crap, now I gotta think of something else to say. It's almost like saying "and." It's like, well, that's it for today. Oh crap, now I gotta say something. You know, that thing's like, if I just said that's it for today, that's a natural ending. There's no panic, there's no rush to words. It makes me seem frazzled. It gives me that nutty professor vibe, which I don't like. So now that tractor trailer ordeal is over, I'm not panicking. I don't have to get on the highway. I still have plenty of time to make it to work on the back roads. It's Friday. I'm actually surprised at the number of people that are on the road right now. I was commenting, I think, somewhere else. I was talking about, like, the height of the pandemic, how few people were on the road. In a different video. Also to people, like, I once talked to a person. It was terrible. I'm not opposed to people in general. Just leave it at that. Doing that thing again, playing with that little bump inside my lip. It's driving me crazy. Interestingly, I do have some control over my destiny. I keep saying things, like I keep wishing for things that are completely within my control. Like it's funny how many times I've said, I wish I'd stop saying instead of just stop saying maybe I'll do that instead. My hair's generally a mess in the morning. You've probably noticed. It was harder to tell, I think, when I was doing the post-processing and I was this green blob in the darkness. I did it. God dang it. I did it again. So it's hard to quit. I don't know if I said because I keep saying at the end of things, but that's part of a very old Steve Martin routine about smoking. And I do believe he does say at the end there, so I don't, that's like a catch-22 right there. I'll have to go re-listen to it. I think I don't know if it's on the Smoking album or Comedy's Not Pretty. Again, I was a very boring child. I had a lot of albums. I used to listen to records in my room, and I had a lot of Steve Martin albums, like obviously Smoking, Comedy's Not Pretty. I'm trying to remember the name of the third one. Did it again. And I can't. But I had three Steve Martin albums that I used to listen to all the time. They were fantastic. Steve Martin is a really funny guy. Like in How I Met Your Mother, the Shabatsky, the TV woman, she used to in one episode they were pointing out all the foibles or the things that kind of drive you crazy about people, and hers was she would say and they turned it into a drinking game, and just classic comedy stylings. She took advantage of this and wasted the main character's architectural class because they were the ones that had the drinking game, and she did it on purpose. Like she just kept going yeah, I did it again. I'm going to stop pointing it out because if I continue to do that, it's going to drive me crazy. And this is really all about what I want. I would like to see how long it takes me to break that habit, though. It's going to be very difficult. I have to assume, now that I'm paying attention to it, and I do it once every couple of seconds, I must have been doing this my entire life, rapid fire. So I'm thinking most of my lexicon consists of the word I don't even know how to spell it. Is it UMM? Is it just UM? Is there a silent H in there? So YouTube Studio is pretty interesting. Like I said, you can give people access, but you can look at the analytics. Like I said before, why is everybody stopped? You can look at viewers, and I've talked about it before. The slide rule thing has really picked up, and I unfortunately did see part of a video. Like I said, I did not want to watch anyone else do a YouTube video, but fortunately I will not be copying what this guy did. He immediately dives into the complex math of logarithms and things like that with no pause. He's a younger fella. He's obviously done his research. He's saying all the right stuff, but it's rapid fire, and I don't think it's going to hit the audience the way. I mean, unless there are crazy people and they like to watch videos. If you're watching this video, you're a crazy person and you like weird videos. But he does, in the brief snippet I saw, he went over the history, the math, why they work, how to do mathematics with logarithms and stuff like that. So it was pretty interesting. I would not do that. I would have to do it either if I do long form, it would be a much more slower, meticulous, step by step, because I guess it's worth a view if you like watching that, but I can't imagine that someone would retain it, because there's just, if you're heavily into mathematics, yes, you'll understand the concepts and it'll be interesting, but I think the general population, nobody is searching for how to use a slide rule because they need to know how to use a slide rule. If you need to know how to use a slide rule, you're weird. Why do you need to, are you coming from the distant future where electricity has been banned or there was a horrible war and the only way that you can do long calculations is with slide rule, and we got some really good ones back here. I can't think of a good scenario where you would need to waste time learning a skill like using a slide rule. It's I mean, yes, I taught myself how to use a slide rule. It's again, I am sorry, but you don't need to know how to use a slide rule. It's not even a cool party trick. It's it's a conversation killer. Slide rule, nice. What's that do? Is that a ruler? No. As I said in other videos, I collect slide rules. It's a sickness. Did it again. Slide rules and ties. I also like. There's other things I collect, but the main thing is ties and slide rules. Slide rules specifically, it's whenever I go to a flea market or anything like that, like I can't enjoy myself just browsing. Like there's in the back of my mind, like I'm scouring, like out of my peripheral vision, like specifically looking for slide rules. Like, and you find them in the weirdest places. You'll find them in like toolboxes. Like they'll just be like all this, rusty screwdrivers, wrenches, and then like mixed in, there'll just be this slide rule, and people won't even know what it is. Like, hey, how much for the slide rule? Like they'll think it's a ruler or something like that. Some people know what it is. Like older folks know. Older folks. I'm in my 50s, and I'm saying older folks. Older folks will know what it is. They won't remember or know how to use it most of the time. I think there really wasn't much more to that sentence. I tried to turn an into an I, and I failed miserably. But I do like them. I've got quite a collection. I've only got dozens. I don't have hundreds. I've got some really nice ones with leather cases, like literally leather cases that have the thing that you can put on your belt. So like, it's like you're a gunslinger, but with math, which is like, I can't even describe to you how cool that is. I wonder if anyone's done that kind of a meme. Like, it wouldn't play in Peoria anymore because it's way too far removed from popular culture. People won't even know what they are. But it'd just be funny to see that kind of a Western thing. People with spurs in the middle of town at high noon both have like this leather holster on their side, and I don't know, some kind of thing where there's people with the tumbleweeds, the weird cricket, and the far off hawk sound, and all of a sudden someone says something crazy like, what's I don't know, some math problem, some crazy math problem that you have to like really use the function. And they both whip out their slide rules and are like, and the one guy shouts out the answer, and the other guy, I don't know what he does. Does he fall to the ground? I have no idea how that would end. So it's like a perfect Saturday Night Live skit. It doesn't have a really good ending. It's just all body. I haven't seen Saturday Night Live in a very long time. For that exact reason, I assume it's still the same way. I don't know. One of the weirdest, and probably one of the last things, this is how long it's been since I've seen Saturday Night Live. One of the weirdest and last skits that I saw on Saturday Night Live was, I can't remember his real name. He was like Lenny from Lenny and Squiggy. He was like in Spinal Tap. He was on Saturday Night Live. I'm guessing he was the guest host. And the scene was, they were a bunch of cops coming up on I guess it was a gruesome crime scene. And they just took this one little bit and beat it into the ground, which is always good comedy. Like when you beat a dead horse to death, that is the quintessential comedy thing. So it's supposed to be this gruesome crime scene, and they have these, I guess they have these things hooked up, and it's throw up comedy. So like everyone's looking thing, and they keep pulling their arm up like this, and like this pea soup looking stuff just keeps shooting out. So it's just this, like that's the whole bit, that like these cops are at this horrific crime scene and they just keep vomiting. And then I stopped watching Saturday Night Live. Here's a little fact, speaking of math, a little simple fact that absolutely everyone knows. In fact, I'll make it a riddle. Here's what I'll do. I'll make it a riddle. See how quickly you can figure this out. X squared equals x plus x. What is x? Hopefully I remember to give you the answer at the end. Take your time figuring it out. I'll warn you before I give you the answer. So, yeah, x squared is the same as x plus x. What is x? I believe there's only one answer. It's not 0. Although you might be tempted to say, hey, I'll just throw a 0 in there, and that's it. No, I'm looking for a non-zero answer. I'll try to keep an eye on it at the 1 hour mark. Like I'll blurt out the answer. I'll say I'm about to give the answer. Because if I wait till the end of the video, I might wait too long, and I might have to do that whole thing where I lean forward and say have a wonderful day and hit the stop button. And then you won't have the answer, and you'll just be tortured. I'm guessing because of my audience, 100% of you knew the answer as soon as I started to ask the question. So there's no big mystery. To stay on tight, have some coffee. The hell? So as I mentioned before, it's been a stressful year so far. I'm not liking it. Not digging on 2023. I mean, it's not. It's only 13 days. We're only 13 days into it, or we're into the 13th day of. 2023. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on, work life and personal life, and it's really getting me down. Like I have a thing I do on Facebook. Again, everything I do seems like it's just an effort to torture people. Friday nights I'll generally go home and just start posting. I like music, and I'll post videos, but I can't enjoy them unless I try to force other people to listen to them. So what I would do on Friday nights, and done it for years, is I would do kind of a VJing thing. Not quite the same thing. Very often I would literally listen to a video and post them YouTube. I'd be watching music videos, and I would just post them to YouTube nonstop. I think a bunch of my friends would specifically unfriend me on Friday nights because of the just endless stream of music videos that I would just foist onto the public. Did it again. I haven't done that in a while. I could never quite get how that works. Damn. I could never quite get how that works. How how is YouTube able to I mean, I guess it's ad based, like if it's getting a lot of views, like, because it feels like radio on demand was never a thing. Like, you know, you always had to pay for music. Like, you either bought you had to buy the CDs or the albums, streaming service, like even Pandora. You can't request a specific song. You can request an artist, you can request a genre, but you can't just queue up what you want to listen to. The world's not that convenient. But with YouTube, you can bring up the music that you like, and it creates mixes specifically for you, which is fantastic. Like, I don't know why would you pay for a different streaming service? I would imagine if you have YouTube Premium, it's even better. I don't know what the monthly cost is. I'll look into that again, because there's some features I would like to unlock in YouTube, but I think you have to have a premium subscription. Like, I don't think you can download content unless you've got the YouTube Premium. I mean, if you're clever, obviously you can do whatever you want, but it's not right, and you shouldn't do it. And I don't know, once you have premium, if there's certain content that they just lock because it's copyrighted material. But maybe the revenue pays, like maybe you are able to download it for personal use if you're. I don't know. I don't know. It would suck if I signed up for the premium so I could download little snippets of things, and it turns out like everything is like, no, that's taboo. You can't download that or anything. I don't know. If any of my viewer knows the answer to that, put it down in the doobly-doo. Should we get a Discord for this channel? I think we should. I think since I said it out loud, we have to do it now. Now I gotta figure out what a Discord is and how to use it. I'm passing a gas station. The sign out front has said now hiring for a really long time, but it used to say other things like cigarettes, a whole list of things. And in that list of things were lottery and hot dogs, in that order. And me and my wife just joke about it all the time because it's a gas station hot dog, so it is literally a lottery hot dog. I've mentioned quite a few times, in fact, memories come up on Facebook, and for a portion of my life, an inordinate amount of my dietary intake was gas station hot dogs. I'm probably going to die. Lottery. So I haven't bought a ticket yet. As I mentioned, frickin' just keeps sneaking in. As I mentioned, it's up to. I said it's 1.3. Someone somewhere said they believe it's higher than that now, like 1.35. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's. I don't know if I mentioned this in the other video, but it's worth noting that after a certain amount, what's the difference? Like, what are the cutoffs? Like, what are the different levels of wealth? There's, like, you know, you're just flat out broken in debt. That's a sucky place to be. I think most of us have been there. I've been there. It was absolutely terrible having no money and being in debt. Then there's, like, you know, having money, positive cash flow. Then, like, it's numbers. Like the one that everyone, like, there's no such thing, like, not seriously, as a thousandaire. Like, nobody calls themselves thousandaire. There's no thousandaires club. Jet setting to Hardee's to have a chat with a thousandaire club. But millionaire is like the first echelon of, like, you know, oh, that guy's a millionaire. It doesn't. like, it sounds great for someone to be a millionaire, but then again, there's different definitions of millionaires. Like, there's one where it's net worth. So a lot more, other than the next category, which is cash on hand. Now, cash, like, meaning that you could just get $1 million worth of cash together real quick. That's completely different from being worth $1 million. Meaning you could be worth $1 million, but it's one of those weird things where maybe you have a lot of real estate with mortgages against it. So you're churning cash through what is essentially a business. So you might be a millionaire, but by the definition of your net worth, but it's not like you can access large sums of cash. Like, you're not like jet setting around on yachts. You're 9 to 5 in it just like everybody else, because you may have a great net worth, but unless you're working, you're not getting any spendable cash. So then there's like the millionaires where they can just have, like, and if you have $1 million of cash readily available, then you're not investing it properly. You're probably a billionaire if you've got that kind of money. But that seems like there's millionaire and billionaire. If you're talking about just the amount of money, what is that? Billionaire is 3 orders of magnitude larger than a millionaire. Like, a millionaire just seems like that unattainable goal to most of us. Like, how do you become a millionaire? And then, like, I have to wonder, like, do millionaires think the same thing about billionaires? Because, like, it's like you have to slide it over 3 more decimal points, which means it's 3 more orders of magnitude. It's like comparing a penny to what? $1? $10? I can't, that when it's that small, I can't slide the decimal point that far, but 3 decimal points would be $10, I guess. Doesn't seem to make sense, but what are you gonna do? I'm probably doing my math wrong. It's early. I'm a fool. But is it more like, do people have definitions of, like, the wealth ladder? Like, what defines, like, and do they subdivide millionaires into those categories, or is there like this? Is there? I looked it up before, because who doesn't? Like, what are, like, you can't even find a really good definition of lower class, upper lower class, lower middle class, middle class, upper middle class, lower upper class. There are definitions out there, but there's all kinds. Like, they're all over the place. Like median income, median household income. Like, if you're playing life as a game and you want to know how you're doing, and like in the financial realm, like if you want to keep a scorecard or make a character sheet of yourself, like financially, like you want to give yourself a number between 1 and 18 if you're like using old school rules. Like, I guess the example is like we thought about many times playing D&D as ourselves. So we would, in order to do that, to play D&D as yourself, as a character, I mean, it's more than just the mental thing. Like, you have to know how strong you are. You have to know how smart you are. So some of the stuff is easy to measure. Some of the stuff's not. Strength, I think there's well-defined things which have to do with bench presses and things like that, where you can figure out what your strength would be on a character sheet. Intelligence, you can use IQ tests. That's not as easy, because there's intelligence isn't necessarily knowledge. Intelligence is the ability to figure things out. It's an innate ability to solve problems. Smarts is different. Smarts is kind of, I don't know what the intention was in D&D, but intelligence is your keen ability to manipulate the environment to your own ends. Wisdom is like intelligence. I don't know how we would measure wisdom. I think wisdom would have to be a thing where, if you were doing it for a character sheet, you'd have to have others gauge your wisdom. I mean, you could probably throw out input and say, like, because you can't be in somebody else's mind. You can see their actions and reactions and what they do, but you may not fully understand why they did a certain thing. And with added clarity, things might make more sense. Dexterity, that's I guess another pretty easy one to figure out. Like, it have a little to do with how flexible you are and how good you are at certain things. Like, if you can juggle, you have good dexterity, but you'd have to create some kind of scale, like how nimble you are. Like, can you do pen flips and things like that? I don't know. Constitution, how healthy you are. Charisma, how likable you are. Again, I don't think that's something you can have a good idea of what your number is, but I think it's something where you would have to get other people to say this is what your charisma score is. I don't know why they added comeliness to the character sheet. Comeliness seemed like it was charisma. Like, it seemed like that before D&D went completely insane with all the rules. And I'm not saying it's insane. I think all those additional rules that rolled out are great, but I think it started like I think comeliness came out before that. It was like it was the one that like broke the barrier. It's like, yeah, let's subdefine like every aspect of everything. And then to me, it just became too much work to learn all that stuff. I guess I'm not really being fair about that. It would be work because I was no longer playing. A lot of that stuff came out after we had already been playing for a while. We were AD&D 3. I mean, sometimes we even reverted just back to regular D&D rules because it was all about having fun and playing the game. So it was really basic stuff. Sometimes it was just literally homebrew, me just making up numbers just to keep the game going. But what is my point? Intelligence character. Oh yeah, so financial. Like if you're making a character sheet for yourself, like in D&D, it's not actually even one of your attributes. Like, it's separate. It's what you own. So it would be listed in possessions. So all that talk, and it's not even a good fit. It wasn't a good analogy. It just, when I think about it for a half a second out of context, it just falls flat on its face. But if you were to do it, like, I would like to know, like, what is the sliding scale? Like, where do you sit financially? Like, if you know your net wealth, if you know how much cash you have, if you know your debt, like you can know exactly where you are, but where you are in relation to everybody else. And it doesn't really matter, like, because let's say you're flat broke and everybody else is flat broke. Well, you could be in the top 1% and still be flat broken in debt. But at least you're in the top 1%. I don't know what the heck that means for you, but there you go. There's a number to chase. Like credit scores, like you can chase a high credit score, but like I guess again it's that thing. Like, anything between 800 and 850 is considered excellent credit. Like, do you chase 850? Like, do you really buckle down? It doesn't make a difference. If you've got 800 credit and you got 850 credit, nothing in your life changes. Nothing more is available to you. It doesn't make a difference. So it's I guess I'm making a commentary on some of the things we chase in life that you really don't have to. Unintentionally making a commentary on. But I'm still curious about it. Is there a good chart that shows the different layers? Like, what separates, these people from these people? Like, I guess there's a classist thing. Like, you see those rich people that are in their own class. I love making fun of those people, but they don't care because they're like billionaires. Again, there's no real point to any of this. I've got time to fill. You got like 6 minutes, and then I'll blurt out the answer. Like 5.5. To the other thing, not the classist wealth thing, and a lot of people's lives turn into that. Like, I never finish a point. Like you just like people chase like you spend your entire life acquiring wealth, and most of us, a good number of us, will die before we get to reap what we've sown. If you spend your entire life working really hard, like saving every last dime, fully funding your 401ks, and having retirement accounts on the side, having stock portfolios, you can acquire quite a bit of wealth, and then you die. I gotta do the front defrost again. So that's sad. So I should stop talking about that. Sometimes you don't die. Sometimes you get to retire, and you're too old to do anything. Still sad. Do today, brain? I am trying to remember if I have what meetings I have scheduled for today. I don't think I have a lot. I hope I don't. I've got it's always never. I always have a lot of stuff to catch up on. I did it again. And I want to catch up on it. So I'm hoping I don't have a lot of meetings. It's Friday. If it's a slow day, there's a bunch of stuff I can knock out. There's little projects I have to do, but they require focus. They require focus and a lot of time. When I say a lot of time, like I need like 25 minutes at a burst uninterrupted to knock out certain projects that I've been sitting on all week. But it has to be 25 minutes of uninterrupted time. It's just making sure. It has to do with what I do and how I do it. I don't want to get into the fine details, but I don't want to work. I don't want to do overtime. As you may have guessed, I have a very long commute to and fro from work. I don't want to put in any more hours than I have to, so I'd like to focus like a laser at work and get everything done I possibly can. I'm not, in my career, I've gone back and forth. I'm in a weird hybrid position right now. I won't get into the details, but I don't want to work overtime. I don't want the money. I don't want the extra time. I need every spare second of my free time. I need it. So back to YouTube and the editor and stuff like that. This next statement's going to have nothing to do with it. I was talking about words earlier, and I was saying words. You may have remembered words. One of the things, and I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous video, it's all a blur. One of the things apparently I say strangely, and my wife brings it up all the time, is collab. I'm saying collab incorrectly. She's told me how to say it right, but I keep saying collab. I think it's supposed to be collab. Is that what I'm supposed to be saying? it's like I'm using the shortened term of collaboration, if you hadn't figured that out. And yeah, I guess if I shorten the word, it sounds different. But when I say it, when I'm, yeah, I guess I am saying it wrong. What are you gonna do? I don't think I'm gonna stop saying collab. Here's an interesting question, in case I ever have the camera facing forward during this ridiculous show. Oh, what time is it? It's exactly 1 hour and 16 seconds in the video. So the number is, like, for the riddle I asked earlier, not much of a riddle, it's a very simple math problem, but x plus x is equal to x squared. The answer is x equals 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. And other than 0, it doesn't really work for anything else. Maybe -2, if you know how negative numbers work. No, doesn't work. Yeah, +2 is the only number it works for. Friday night video. So one day, many years ago, I also have a very large collection of records. I mentioned my Steve Martin records earlier. I have a large collection of 45s too. Not as large as some people. Like I have a few boxes of 45s. A lot of music I like. So one night I did Facebook VJing, where I was posting videos from YouTube onto Facebook, and I would only do albums that I had, and surprisingly, quite enough to fill the entire evening. I think I specifically only did side A's, or maybe I did a night where I did side B's only. I don't remember. I think there was a record. I think there was a record where the A and B side was the same. I can't remember what song it was. And 45s. I don't know the history. I really don't know the history of vinyl. Now I'm kind of curious as to the difference because I think the original, I mean, obviously the originals were like, I think on cylinders and stuff like that, but I'm wondering the history of vinyl. Like, they started out at, like, I think 78s, like these big, thick, flat records with a groove only on one side. I have some of those. I used to have a, I don't know what happened to it. I used to have an old cabinet TV with a record, like a little tiny black and white TV inside, and had a record player. It's gone. I must have maybe went to auction. I don't remember. I had another old console TV, black and white TV. It worked for a while, and it was neat. I really liked the case. I was torn. Like at the time, the house was too small. I needed space. I thought it'd make a nice little liquor cabinet. And I used it as a liquor cabinet for a while. I took the TV out. I did not save the display, the tube, the cathode ray tube. In retrospect, I should have, but I did save the vacuum tubes. I have a box of old TV parts. I don't know why, but I still have the because it's a piece of furniture now. It's not being used for anything other than a table in the parlor. It might have ended, like if you're watching any of the other videos on here, you'll see that I'm vacuuming shampooing the rugs. It may become another like satellite liquor cabinet for the upstairs, because that was the intent at the old house. I kept my liquor bottles in there because it was a nice little, like, it makes a nice bar. It used to be an old TV, but take the TV out, make a shelf, and it's now a bar. Whereas I was going to put like stemware holders on the door. Got to be careful how I do that so that like I don't drop glasses all over the floor when I open the door. But we'll see how that turns out. It's misting. It's not raining. It's misting, and it just drives me crazy because you can't have the windshield wipers on because after the first wipe it's too dry, and then you wait a while. I guess like, intermittent. I guess I could do that. Let me just put it right in, turn it way down. That's why they designed it. When I take the back roads to work, there are more twists and turns than when I take the highway. And I didn't get lost taking the back roads. How the heck did I get lost yesterday? I can't. Now I wish the camera was facing the other way because it still is driving me crazy. I don't know how I ended up in Bristol. I don't know what the heck was going on. Maybe if I look at it on a map, it'll be obvious. I mean, I have to think I missed my exit. And I'm trying to think what exit did I miss? How did I miss it? I mean, my exit. I obviously missed my exit. Like, yeah, because I couldn't have. I don't believe I got off the turnpike early and ended up in Bristol. That would be even crazier because it shouldn't have taken me that long to figure out. I had no idea where I was. I'll eventually see a doctor. As I said, I believe I'm going through some cognitive decline. I keep dropping things. Like literally just dropping things. It's bothering me a lot that I keep dropping things. And, when I'm driving to work, I end up in Bristol instead of at work. It could just be just a bad week. It's a shame I didn't start making these videos earlier because then I could study my speech patterns and things of that nature, test how long the pauses are to see if there is a actual medical thing going on there, or if I'm just old, clumsy, and tired. And fat. Did I mention fat? I've already forgotten what the word is for the people that you get, like I'm pretty sure I said it earlier, like not sysop, that has to do with D&D, but if you give people access to administer your channel, administrators? Let's go with administrators. If you would like to be an administrator for this channel, comment, don't subscribe, just comment, and you may get the rights to be an admin. Like, don't just say I want to be an admin. Like, tell me what you bring to the table. Like, you're just gonna, you can promise that you'll reply to every comment in a mean way, so that the viewers stop don't have to bring much to the table. I clearly bring nothing to the table other than the fact that I hit the record button every morning, and then hit another button to push the video up to YouTube. Unrelated to most things I said today, except for the weird comment I made. I actually, for a while, I wanted to be a financial planner. I found personal finance very interesting. There's a couple of things that scared me away from that, or not necessarily scared me away from that, but diverted me from that path. One, I got a job at a very early age with a long-term career. I'm still in that business. I've got side businesses now. The other thing is, at the time I was having aspirations for that, I was making some really, really poor financial decisions with my own life, having to do with getting into debt and investing. I hope they come at me. I'm still mad at these people. E-Trade. Many, many moons ago, I invested a few $1,000s in an E-Trade account, thinking that was a smart thing to do. Put your money in E-Trade, buy some stocks. You know, I forget whether they were unlimited trades or very, very inexpensive trades. You get so many a month or whatever. So I get myself an E-Trade account. You can say it's my fault for not reading the fine print or whatever, but a couple $1,000s in an E-Trade account, bought some stocks, and time goes by. Life goes by, so it just sits there. I'm not actively trading and moving my money around. I got other things to do. I was young. I was wasting money in other areas. So what ends up happening is I eventually get this collection letter. It turns out that if back then if you had no activity, they started taking money out of your account. They literally took all the money out of my E-Trade account for fees. So I'd put a couple $1,000s in there. It all got absorbed into fees, and I owed them money. Like, I thought I was investing wisely, putting away money for the future, and I lost it all, not to bad investments, but to fees from E-Trade. And I was so mad. Like they were nice about it. They said, okay, we'll just close the account. You don't owe us anything. It's like, don't owe you anything. You took thousands of dollars and just absorbed it all into fees because I didn't make a trade every month. So obviously that was set up on purpose. Banks used to do the same thing. I feel really bad. I had an aunt who, and I don't want to call the name of the financial institution out, Third Federal Savings, who they had the same kind of thing. Like she was trying to take care of her finances, do the right thing, put money in the account. Like she couldn't figure out why she didn't have any money. They were taking money out of her account because she didn't have enough, and never explained it to her. So she didn't have a lot of money, but they took it all in fees for not having enough money. They were charging her for not having enough money in the bank. And they Third Federal screwed me pretty bad at one point. They had a policy of if you had a bill come in, if you wrote a check, which is how I used to pay bills back, during the Bronze Age. If you bounced a check, they would charge you. The company who, so let's say I have a credit card, and let's say a check bounces due to bad planning. The credit card charges you a bounce check fee. The bank charges you a bounce check fee, but they submit it 3 times. Like their policy was to just, it didn't take, and I don't know how long they waited, but they would submit it 3 times. They're the bank. They know you don't have the funds, but they hit you 3 times with fees for a bounced check. So I was, when I was really young, I was spinning a lot of plates. I was very far in debt, but I had it under control because I was paying the minimum. And, I was doing that classy thing where you take one credit card and you pay off another credit card. I was still a teenager at this point when I learned to be complete financial disaster. But I got better. But when this like, there was a cascade effect. I mean, it was hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in bounce fees, and all the plates came crashing down. Like, because that just stopped the whole circus. Because at that point, when that happened, like, that depleted my entire bank account, so I could no longer kite these funds. I couldn't. So it was a disaster. It took me a couple years to climb out of what I had done to myself there. So don't do that. Don't be dumb. Pretty much, don't be dumb. Like, I don't believe a lot of these things that I'm saying. I don't believe they're allowed to do anymore. I would hope not. But on top of the fact that the banks and investment companies were rotten scoundrels, I was an idiot, and I shoulder a lot of the blame because I was making a lot of really bad decisions back then. In my defense, I was still a kid. If you watched yesterday's video, I was complaining about having a tummy ache. I'm a little better today. Why? What is happening at 7 o'clock that I'm getting a notification? Upcoming event? What the heck is happening? Oh. Alright. So I have at least one meeting today. But in reference to what I said earlier, I got much better. I'm not any smarter. I'm just grizzled. Like I've touched the stove a bunch of times, and I know not to touch the stove. I think a good portion of intelligence is, or at least appearing to be intelligent, is like making horrible mistakes throughout your life and knowing not to do them again. It's much better to learn from the mistakes of others. Don't play murder in the dark. Don't spend your youth wasting money like it's going out of style. Don't start a land war in Asia. I think I'm there. It's been great talking to you. I hope you've had a good time. If you've watched this whole thing again, I wish you the best. You really should seek medical attention. There's some